Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you had a fantastic Saturday. I have the instigator with me, who is always barking in the background. This is Luna Lovegood. Uh, my name is Jenny Hensley. I am an effectiveness coach and co-owner of Dynamics. We are dedicated to helping you have wonderful, productive meetings and helping you get your work done. So we're working on the hashtag Stop Bad Meetings, because that is our crusade, because 71% of Americans feel that their meetings are unproductive. And we are going to give you tips every Sunday during our live pep talk to help solve that issue. So the reason that we do the live streams every Sunday is part of our work, other than facilitating and doing professional development and helping lead initiatives, is to coach. And many of our coaching clients have talked about the need to share the information with a broader audience and their teams. And we thought this might make it easier for all of you. So I'm going to follow up each pep talk with resources, processes, websites, books, all kinds of things that'll help you be more effective and ultimately help you make your meetings more effective. So today we're really talking about how to accomplish real work during your meetings. One of the things that we hear from people over and over is the Groundhog Day, you know, the movie Groundhog Day, one of my favorites, scenario that you live the same meeting over and over again and nothing gets done, and you have the same conversations and the same people say the same things, but nothing gets finalized or taken off the agenda or accomplished. So today I want to talk about a few tips of how to make sure that that doesn't happen to you and that you accomplish exactly what you want to accomplish in your meetings. The first one is plan, plan, plan. You should be planning for meetings, your team meetings, at least a week in advance, if at all possible, and maybe more than that, so that you have time to sit, to think, to write out the agenda and all the processes. We've shared all of that information in our previous Facebook live streams, the 3-part series about how to write a good agenda. But something that I really didn't highlight is the fact that to plan a good meeting, it should take at least as much, if not longer. It really should take longer than the actual meeting that you're going to be leading. Also, just out of respect to those team members who are going to be working with you, they need time to plan and prepare for the meetings as well. So you want to make sure that you have enough time to let the people know on your team know that are going to be helping you out with the meeting. So planning is really, really important. Part of that, and this is another thing that we shared with the agendas, but we didn't get in depth with it, is that you need to have clear roles. And I'm going to talk about that on 2 levels. First of all, for you, you need to have a clear role as a facilitator or an expert. Sometimes you have to do both, and a facilitator would be the person that keeps the meeting on track, and the other person, an expert, would be the person that has the knowledge of the area that's going to be sharing. Sometimes you're going to do both roles, but we would like to really caution you that if you are passionate about the topic, or you really, really care about how the process, the decision that's made, you have an opinion of how the decision should be made, then you should not facilitate. Because what happens is, if you feel like you already have in your mind how the decision should happen, you start leading the group that way. And we call that facility manipulation. That's when you're not really facilitating, you're really kind of ushering the group toward the decision that you think they should make. So in order to avoid that, obviously if you can have an outside facilitator, but we also talk about having another team member, somebody that maybe is a leader but not even part of the team that's meeting. Get somebody else that can actually lead the meeting and help you facilitate. I used to do this, and we would have our union association president was also trained in the effectiveness strategies, and we would ask her to come in and facilitate for us when we knew that we had a really difficult topic coming up. So, so that's number one. That's one role. Also, the group needs to be crystal clear about their role. And we've talked about these before: inform, recommend, decide, or professional development. Why do you have the group together? They need to have a purpose. So inform means that they're providing input towards the decision. You're just going to gather notes from them and take it back to help make the decision. Recommend means that they're going to have to come to consensus on a recommendation from the group. Again, they don't decide, but they can recommend or make multiple recommendations. Third, and it's pretty rare if you have a group actually decide. That means that they are the decision makers. They're the ones who are going to say yes or no to the decision. And then finally, professional development is when you bring a group together and you're training. So you have to decide really clearly what the role of the group is, and then you have to have the courage to tell them. Because one of the biggest mistakes is going into a meeting and assuming that the group knows their role. Most groups will assume that they are deciding. This happens a ton when you do group interviews. Groups will come in and think that they are deciding who is going to be hired. But of course, a lot of times the group comes together and they don't have all of the information. They don't have all the background. They don't have all the HR resources. They don't have the fact that, you know, you've called references. So 99% of the time when you have a group interview, you really just want input. You want to know what they thought about the person. So when you start a meeting like that, you need to tell them their role. And people sometimes are just shocked when we do this. And we just will say, so your role as a group is to inform this decision. Your role is not to decide. The person that will decide will be the superintendent or the CEO. And you explain who is going to decide, and you also explain how the decision is going to be made. So those are two really clear things you need to do about roles. And letting them know that what's going to be done at the end. If their role is to inform, talk about, so we've gathered all this information today, and then end with next steps. We're going to take this information back, we're going to put it together, a decision will be made, and then we will share that and then share exactly when and how you're going to share that decision. My final suggestion for you is something we haven't really talked about, which is you need a clear process for decision making. Many times the group is going to be participating in dialogue. So they're going to be providing input. There's not a decision that's going to be made. So you have to be crystal clear that they're in dialogue, which is the goal of dialogue is to develop a shared understanding and not discussion. The goal of discussion is to make a decision. So you have to be crystal clear that they're in dialogue and their role. Now, if the group is going to be doing a recommendation or actually making a decision, you need to have a clear process. And we recommend consensus. And we could share tons of different ways to do that. But if it's not a major decision, something that I use, and I will also share the slide that I use for this, is a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So you'll take the temperature of the group. Where are you on this? A thumbs up means I support it. A thumbs sideways means I'm not 100% supporting it, but I can live with it. And a thumbs down means I cannot live with it. If somebody says a thumbs down, then they need to share the reasons why. So you go through, and rarely, unless it's something really, really that's a principle for the person, rarely does somebody do a thumbs down. But if they do, then you may uncover issues that you didn't even know were there. So this is just a way to quickly see where the group is, take the temperature of the group, and to get consensus. If everybody is up or does thumbs sideways, then you know that you're good to go with the decision. And then if somebody has a thumbs down, you need to dig more into the decision. So that's just one way of getting consensus. There are tons of ways, tons of resources, and we'll continue to share those as we go. So I'm hoping this will really help you as you're working in your meetings, especially those of you who've had trouble and feel like you're just having the same meetings over and over again, help you to actually get work done and help you to come to effective decisions that really stick. So please share #StopBagMeetings and your suggestions for actually accomplishing work in meetings. Also, please forward and share this live stream to people who plan your meetings or people who maybe need it. And I just hope that you have a fantastic day and take time on Sunday to enjoy your day. If you're lucky enough to have the day off, take time to relax and enjoy it. And I'll see you next week when we are talking about having shorter meetings and beginning and ending on time. Thank you.